Ren, Eden, let's get
Let
it.
me tell you a story as old as time, the story of Adam and Eve. It starts with a God who wanted more. God had just created the heavens and the earth. He had the angels by his side, but they had no will of their own, and so the autonomy to love or reject him was never theirs. All but for one, the once called bringer of light, Lucifer, morning star. Lucifer was the fairest and most intelligent of all the angels. He was the closest thing to God's image, and in his likeliness, Lucifer felt restless. He began to question and doubt God. He doubted the hierarchy opposed upon him. He felt God was arrogant. In his frustration, Lucifer built a throne that stood even above God's and declared mutiny. A war ensued. God, being all-powerful, came out the victor and banished Lucifer from the heavens and exiled him to...
I really respect that. I really respect, not the devil getting exiled from heaven, but I respect the topic that Ren's going on, and you know that's been one of those things that I've learned to really like, or I do like about Ren, is the topics. Everything that he raps about, every song he's making, or at least a lion's share of them, he's trying to make some shit that will make you think. It's not usually just something to be digested and shit out. Now, in modern day, you know, we live in sort of like I don't know how it is in the UK, but like we live in a godless land in America, right? And I say that for saying like you could do anything you want in a school, right? But pray. You could talk about anything, or what you do in your bedroom, what you like to eat, all these things. But if you start talking about what you worship, it'll make a lot of people uncomfortable, right? And so even with like media training, they teach celebrities and stars or people who are going to speak to the masses to stay away from politics and religion, because those are two real, polarizing subjects. And so I like that, you know, art, music, you know, is always a place where you sort of get that freedom. But then as you start getting to the mainstream music, you get that freedom stripped away. And then you remember Jesus Walks by Kanye West. And the line is, they say we can rap about everything except for Jesus. So I will rap about everything except for Jesus. Lies, drugs, sex on videotapes. But if I rap about God, my music won't get played, huh?
All-powerful came out the victor and banished Lucifer from the heavens and exiled. God, being all-powerful, came out the victor and banished Lucifer from the heavens and exiled him to earth. Once again, God was alone with his power. Perhaps from loneliness, perhaps from curiosity, perhaps from a desire to share love, God began to work on his greatest project yet, a being that would mirror himself, the human, two humans specifically, Adam and Eve. They were placed inside a paradise built for them on earth, the Garden of Eden. In the garden, God placed a tree that bared fruit that would grant anyone who ate it powers bestowed only to a God, to tell good from evil, left from right, to live righteously or to sin. He named this the tree of knowledge. God...
Now, probably going to get canceled after this reaction because I'm going to actually say what I'm thinking, right? And I've always had this question about the Bible. And I went to Catholic school for like a year and a half when I was in Nigeria. A boarding school and shit, right? But I always wondered, right, like, what is that? Why is there that one? Okay, why do you put the fruit in there that's gonna later make us see that we're naked and see sin and see the world in a different way, as he said, in a way that only God was meant to say it? One, who am I to question God? Whoever we believe when we're just talking about this, but why would you put the bush there? Like, you know, because like my question was always like, if you know how everything's going to play out, why did you put the bush there? Unless you needed us to, because everything happens for a reason. And for me, I guess this is based off of the canon and logic of the Bible. For me to even be at this point making this video, the snake would have had to tell him to eat Eve to eat the fruit. And then Eve tells him, right? And two, what is the problem with them knowing they're naked? That has always been my question. And that has never really been explained to me. We might have somebody with real game to drop it off in the comments. But is it like ignorance is bliss, and are you saying we should all just stay ignorant? You don't want to know everything, or like is the pursuit of information, this I guess could be evil, but what is that, right? Queso don't get it. Somebody explain that motherfucker.
Told Adam and Eve they could eat whatever they wanted in the garden, but never the fruit from the tree of knowledge. And if they disobeyed him, it would be punishable by death. The basic way the story of Eden is told is that Eve was tempted by Lucifer in the form of a serpent to eat a fruit from the tree of knowledge. Convinced, she bit the fruit, she passed it to Adam, and he did the same. Suddenly, ultimate knowledge filled their minds, and they realized they were naked and felt shame. God discovered this betrayal and felt angry. He exiled Adam and Eve and cursed them with the life of a mortal. They would work, they would bear children, and they would die. The fate of a human. Now look deeper.
In the story, the serpent tempted me by telling me I would gain ultimate knowledge and that God would spare me.
Both were true.
This wasn't some great deception, meaning that Satan, in the likeliness of God, perhaps understood his intentions. In fact,
the only lie uttered in the
Garden of Eden was
by God, who did not end up
condemning
Adam and Eve to
death.
This could be seen as an act of
mercy, but the sheer fact that the tree existed and that humans
were initially cut off from this knowledge
may imply some part of God was afraid that if humans were granted the gift of perception, they, like Lucifer, would have the power to reject him too. The fact that there stood a beautiful tree that could
grant this knowledge in the first place
implies that a small part of
God, supposedly all-knowing,
perhaps wanted and intended
the humans to bite too.
In the Bible, Satan was...
Well, just off my understanding, he damn you to death. It's the curse of that you won't live forever. He's not saying that necessarily I'm going to kill you, nigga. He's just saying you can die now. You was supposed to just be in this motherfucker forever chilling. I'm just look at you as my greatest creation. We chill out. You come through. You say what's up. We fight Snake off a couple times. Hey, good eternity. But the end of death. But you know there is to be said that is a perspective. That's definitely a perspective that makes sense. A lot of that is what I was saying too. Like nigga, why would you put that kind of temptation in my face, right? And then you also say the only person, like earlier you said the only person who lied was God and the devil. But it's like, you gotta be careful in how you perceive that, right? If I handed you a hard drug and I said to you, this will feel good, I'm telling you the truth. This is just hear me out. Them shits usually feel good, right? The problem is, in about a week, it's not gonna feel good anymore. And in about a year, your life probably gonna be ruined for this shit. 5 years, you might die from this or get some health issues. I'm not leaving that. I'm just telling you, it's just gonna feel good. So you gotta. There's even a, just where I'm seeing it's like there's a. You can't fault that, like you can't fault that, like. Kids ask their parents how they get here. The nigga says your parents say the stork. It's like nigga, yeah, I'm just trying to preserve your innocence. I'm just gonna let you believe in Santa Claus a little bit longer. Yes, I am lying to you, but that's how I'm peeping it, because he was literally trying to preserve your innocence. You wouldn't feel shame, and if you never felt shame, we would never need this. And so there's trillions and billion-dollar industries created for our shame of what we are. If I called my dog over here, this nigga ain't really got much on but a leash, and that's just guy like the leash. No, he's not even wearing a leash. That nigga butt naked. Let's go.
Perhaps wanted and intended
the humans to bite too.
In the Bible, Satan was an exiled angel of free will. Humans are exiled
descendants of Adam and Eve,
also with free will. Not only have we shared a similar fate to the devil, we were also both constructed in the image of our Creator.
Constructed in the image of our Creator.
Meaning our behaviors, in some shape or form, imperfectly echo his.
We could assume that this kind of
God has his doubts, but as the most
powerful
being in the universe,
he has no one above him
to turn to with questions, and no one to
doubt but himself, an incredibly lonely and isolating existence.
We must only assume that
Also, I think that's like, you're literally trying to humanize God. And I think that because like I'm not really like the most religious nigga ever. You know, I believe in what I believe in, but I'm not really. Dipper ain't been to church since last time I probably went to a funeral. Oh, when I went to a wedding. But you know, the problem with humans, right? And the problems with a lot of things is you try to, like, Europeans come to America, and the Native Americans tell these niggas, you can't own land. How can you own land? Land is existed from God. This is just here, bro. Nobody owns this shit. But the European people don't think like that, right? And so they come and they slaughter and they conquer, right? I'm saying that to, and then when they told the narrative later, it was almost as if the Native Americans were dumb. They sold like New York for like $0.25, right? And some cigarettes. I think Chappelle said a bag of weed. They just didn't understand. They don't exist in this way. So say all that to say, you're talking about God feeling lonely and things like that, but there you go, taking your imperfections and projecting it onto what should be a symbol of perfection. No, the nigga, in theory, I don't know, can I call God a nigga? Yeah. I done called a lot of niggas a nigga before. I don't know, I haven't called God a nigga. I need to tighten up. But if anything, what this is supposed to be is an entity of perfection. It's not going to have those kind of things, but I get it, and that's dope, and it's a dope thought. I like that you're thinking, and you only have reference, right? So you only have yourself and humans to understand. But it's like, what if that nigga don't got 2 legs and 2 arms? What if he's like a drop of water? What if he's like a deer? Like, you know what I'm saying? What if he's something you've never seen? What if it's a color you've never seen before? Because the human brain, we aren't as smart or creative as we give ourselves credit to. We can't even think of a new color. You know what I'm saying? You can't. No one can. Try. Go ahead. Boom. Think of a color that doesn't exist.
The common thread between God, Lucifer, and us is the desire for more, an eternal curiosity, a desire perhaps birthed from a seed of loneliness.
I think you guys used to call that manifest destiny. You see how this all...
If not, why would we exist in the first place? The constantly looping, bittersweet irony is whether gifted by some omnipotent God or simply a byproduct of billions of years of evolution, here we stand, in 2023, as creatures with free will. The only creatures that understand and define good from bad. Creatures with the potential of a God. And what do we do with that free will, my friends? We willingly walk to the edge of a cliff. In the name of progress, we jump off the precipice. The empires we build ravage the earth. The natural order of things are necessary to survive. Any systems which do not honor homeostasis eventually perish. Our free will overrides our own biological instinct. We can take more than we eat. We can kill more than we need. We can win.
And this is fire, you know, because, you know, when we do the reactions, I think it was Money Game Part 3, I'm in here, as weird as it sounded, I almost caught myself like having to defend capitalism, right? Because there is aspects of it that are good. And so if you are to just paint this idea as an evil thing, like it's the yin and yang, things need balance, good and bad always exist, right? But this is very different. He's not, and he's essentially attacking the same problem, but he's going about it, to me, in my head, a much better way, because fuck capitalism. Let's talk about what happened to these Native Americans. Let's talk about what's happening in Palestine, and they finna flag this video. Let's talk about and Israel. Let's talk about what's going on and it all comes down to, you think it's money, but it's not even money, because the people who are making these decisions got all the money in the world. And if they don't literally have the most money in the world, if you run a fucking nation, you have access to everything. You don't even need money. What they want is power and control. And so, because of the pursuit of power and control, go to wars, baby. Go watch that reaction I did to an artist named MC Abdullah. Nick's like 13 years old, and he lives in Palestine. And, you know, that's all I'll say. Just go watch it. And all these real life atrocities are happening because we're gluttons and because we're greedy and because we want. The problem isn't capitalism. The problem is people. The problem is always people. We are flawed and nasty by nature. But in the same way that you can be evil, you can be good. And in the same way, nigga, you need money to pay your bills. I don't fault you for that. But if it gets to the point where we're choosing money over human decency, then we've stepped too far. But I don't think we need to, these systems they definitely need fixed. They definitely need fixed. 1% of the people in this motherfucker got all the money. It needs fixed. But what I'm saying is we should just fix those people. If there are people with skills good enough to amass billions of dollars, trillions of dollars, we need niggas like you. We need niggas like you. But the problem is, instead of using this money to go buy Epstein Island, maybe we start doing things to better humanity. That's all I'm saying. That's what I was getting at with that is, but I don't got mad at nigga trying to get to the bag. The problem be what happens after you get the money. And it's never forget, this is a hamster on a fucking wheel. This capitalism chasing, and you should know that. And it never ends. And you're just on this bitch running and running and running and running and running and running until you die. So it would make sense eventually. You're a smart person. Remove yourself from the wheel. But nigga, you gotta run on that hoe sometimes. The hamster needs some exercise.
We can take more than we eat. We can kill more than we need. We can willingly create weapons with the potential to burn everything we've built to the ground. We willingly decide.
I was reading this thing about how, like, I think it was the Chinese, right? Had gunpowder for, like, these numbers are going to be all off because it was a while ago, but, like, let's just say they had gunpowder for, like, 500 years, but they were just using it for, like, festivals and celebrations and shit like that. And after they traded and it hit the West, within like 35 years or something like that, get them off the year, let's say 100, Europe used most of these things. Now I'm on y'all ass to them, but used these things, created guns and or advanced guns and used it to take over most of the world within 35 years. So then you start realizing, okay, and all that shit might be a little off, but moral of the story is the problem isn't gunpowder. Nigga, who don't like fireworks? The problem is this nigga's genocidal. This guy is a maniac. Like, why are you doing this? Everybody else just shooting off fireworks. You decided, nigga, North America looking pretty good right now. You know what I'm saying? It's never that deep.
To burn everything we've built to the ground. We willingly decide to bow at the altar of greed, the most insidious and destructive of all sins. We put our faith in corporations who pose as rulers. We willingly allow ourselves to be led by outdated power systems ran by corrupted politicians and bloated dictators who claim domain and dominion.
Dead homies on dead homies. That's why you never catch queso out here like, man, fuck Donald Trump. Why you never? Now, I don't like none of those niggas. I don't like any of those. If you are a politician, I don't like you. I'm sorry. Like to an extent, right? Politicians are cool, but if you are like an American politician, red tie, blue tie, I don't fuck with you. And let me tell you another thing, in case you guys are listening sometimes. Queso, why you ain't it? This thing off. Nigga, I am a felon. I can't even vote. Let's be completely honest. I have a lot of felonies. So my opinion don't really even matter on the subject.
Politicians and bloated dictators who claim domain and dominion over an open and free land. We willingly elect the corrupted when the decision was always ours to build something better. We willingly create and impose separation because of beliefs that we are force-fed through our...
I always wonder though, like if they really had this much power, like let's just say I was running the world, right, and I had enough power. I believe a lot of things are, and I might be wrong. We're just talking. We're on some fucking tin hat shit, right, or tinfoil hat. I wouldn't let you niggas really vote. I'm being completely honest. You think you were voting, but your free will would be an illusion, because why would I allow myself to lose this, right? If I actually was one of these niggas, run the world, secret society, boy, you think I'm finna leave it up to some niggas in Seattle whether I keep running this shit? Or I'ma just be like, yo, yeah, let them do the shit. You know what I mean? I don't believe it, even with like, with free will in the Bible, right? Well, how free will do you have if everything you're doing was predetermined? That's not, how could that truly be free will if it was planned? That's not free will. I sort of have an illusion that I'm making these decisions, but I was going to make this decision regardless. You know what I'm saying? That's what I've always thought, that I don't really know how I feel about free will. But obviously, I have some extent of free will because I'm doing this right now. But what if this wasn't my free will? What if this is just how it was supposed to go, and this is how it was going to go, and every decision I made wasn't a decision but an event that just happened in my life? I always wonder them things.
Phones and television sets. We always had the will to reject these things, but we adhere to them as though they were the laws of physics. War, famine, pestilence, greed, these aren't things imposed upon us by an all-powerful God or by his demonic adversary. They are here because of us.
Thank you.
Not because of free will, but because of our inability to use it. We must be motivated to be better, not out of fear of punishment of an eternal damnation, but because the choice exists, because we love ourselves, because we have the power to absolve ourselves of so much unnecessary suffering. Take a second to be in this very moment, because we love ourselves, because...
Nigga, this is the best thing Ren has ever done. I'm just being real with you. Like, obviously his music is gonna be like funner and shit like that. Songs, who doesn't like songs? This nigga's just talking. But I am real with you guys. And it's not just real because you're being negative. No, it's real because it's how I really feel. I'm not, nigga. I'm an ex-drug dealer, multiple time felon. I did a lot of terrible shit. I should not be your moral compass in life. I'm telling you that, right? But even with that being said, I still know how some shit works. And I know that maybe somebody was watching my videos at the darkest time of their life. Maybe he was listening to one of my songs. And maybe he connected to a line I said. Maybe a joke I said in the reaction made him laugh and he kept going. And so now my words might hold I'm not saying I'm God, right? But I'm just saying I know how this goes. So my words might hold a little weight. It's like your friend. Like, if your friend says something to you, that might affect you a little more if your stranger just says it to you. And so we've built some kind of relationship, right, through this. So now I try to be a little more conscious of what I'm telling people to do, right? I still talk my shit, but I'd be more conscious. There was a way I would talk in my reactions before until I started realizing, like, yo, 12-year-old me listening to this shit. Yo, this, I might miss a lot of what I'm actually saying and just grab the attention. You understand what I'm saying? So with all that being said, why I appreciate this from Ren is because you're still giving this message of hope. That's all Dipper's been saying. Just don't take people's hopes from them. And I'm not saying you was, but you was sometimes. And don't ever feed into being hopeless. Did you hear what this nigga just said? Some of the most powerful shit I have ever heard. Bro, you have the power to absolve yourself of all of this. Of all the shame, guilt, pain. And you have the power. You are something special because, nigga, we are perfect creation. You have the power to do whatever the fuck you want. Realistically, you can will this shit out. This is a guy I'm making a whole living just doing this shit. Nigga, I couldn't get a job at Popeyes. You can will some shit out, right? If you're willing to do it. And it's hard, but you can. All I'm saying is just say that to people too. Don't tell these niggas that the best way out is self-delete. That's not it. Bro, this is powerful, nigga. This is hip hop. This is that shit I'm talking about. This is it. Where we can feel this. Bro, the world is fucked up. I'm not saying that we should ignore the evils of the world. The world's fucked up. But maybe come a little bitty solution. maybe even put in the air of ignorance. There's a lot of times I will say, I don't have a better solution. I'm not even that well informed on this, but based off of the little I do know, this is what I think. What do you guys, does someone have a better solution? I'm just saying that. And I'm not perfect. I fuck up too. You're not going to be perfect. You will fuck up too, because we're not God. But I really appreciate what you're doing here. I appreciate the effort.
But because the choice exists, because we love ourselves, because we have the power to absolve ourselves of so much unnecessary suffering. Take a second to be in this very moment.
Take a second.
In this moment, how much suffering is happening all over the planet right now? How many people are dying of illnesses that could have easily been cured, but aren't because of the selfishness and greediness of humanity? How many people break their backs and reject their own passions to simply afford bills and food? How many of us crave distraction from existence? How many of us numb that pain in whatever way necessary? How many children are being abused? How many people sleep cold and hungry on the streets? How many of us become cogs inside a machine that is destroying itself? How many soldiers have been forced to fight in meaningless wars? How many humans have killed for ideals they don't believe in or understand? How many people have died for the greed of another man? And how much of this was avoidable? As written in the Bible, Satan was not condemned to hell. Satan was condemned to earth. He lives there amongst other creatures with free will, who always had the choice and still chose their own undoing. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our self-made hell. The bittersweet irony is this is a creation of our own design.
What do you believe in, heaven or hell? I can't believe in heaven because we living in hell. God prevent. Man, I'm talking that real shit. The thing about it is, you know, we are a reflection of the world, and the world is a reflection of us, right? And so, like, I made a tie to the universe. Like, I'm like, yo, if I need you right now. Nick can't get Popeye's job. If somehow I can figure this shit out, whenever I see a nigga homeless, I'll break him off some. I promise you. Okay, so I don't spend a lot of money giving homeless niggas some bread, right? And so when I'm doing it, sometimes people think I'm like flexing, but like, no, I'm just honestly scared I'm gonna go broke. And I just like doing it. But people will say like shit like, you know, a lot. I seen this one homeless guy. This nigga was driving a foreign car. I heard these guys make $100,000 a year doing this. I heard this, but it's like, that doesn't matter. I still have humanity. But what if this guy doesn't? What if this guy is just really struggling? What if this lady is really just struggling? And I can't allow, but I get why you're like that. You're not wrong for it, but I just can't let the world take my smile. They've already taken it from me, and I'm fighting very hard to be a human again. You know, like I'm trying very hard to not, because I was wild. I used to do some wild shit, right? So I'm trying to give me my smile back. I can't keep, these niggas did this to me, so we are coming back with such force. These niggas they are going to write in storybooks about what we do to these niggas. I'm trying to not be that guy no more, right? You can't let them take your smile from you. So when you do see these people, and I feel for it, it's like, motherfucker, this nigga might be lying. This nigga might just be lazy. This nigga might just be a drunk. But that doesn't concern me. I'm no longer giving it to him. I'm giving it to the world. I am just saying, let me try somehow to make this shit better, because I've created some drug addicts. I've done a lot of things. I've destroyed homes. I've done all, because nigga, that's what the reality of the streets, right? So now I'm in here trying to maybe balance my karma out or something, right? But right, I lost my smile. I was in pursuit of a dollar, being an evil person. Let me get it back and let me maintain it. And you should keep her smile at all times, because at the end of the day, if nothing else, it'll give me a nice little cutaway. I can talk shit about how we give money to homeless people, and then maybe one guy gives money to homeless people, and I feel like I did something in this world, right? That'll help me keep my smile. What I won't do is just see a nigga struggling and walk right past him, though, because that's me being the world. But I'm not going to keep being the world. I'm going to be myself, and maybe if I'm myself, then the world will reflect that.
I'll leave you with this. Consider what you have done here today. You have worked together as individuals, collaborating to form a giant neural network, a hive mind capable of achieving incredible things. We have lent on each other's strengths to solve puzzles and decipher riddles, and we've done so to win money. Imagine applying that same spirit and determination to creating the closest thing we have to paradise here on Earth. By using the power of collaboration, we can work together to even the playing field for everybody.
Real shit. So, Ren, I just would like to ask nicely, since we're talking about capitalism and collaborating, could you quit half claiming the videos? I'm just be a real nigga. You do it to every single one, Ren. Like, nigga, to one, bro. I mean, I be talking a lot. I'm just asking. If not, it's fine. Yeah. A lot of people, I don't know why in the comments y'all believe that the nigga doesn't claim that he 100% does. I was like, what the fuck? This is like, but there's two different types of claim. There's like an artist could claim your shit and then the content creator gets nothing off of it, which that's just some bullshit. And then the nigga can share revenue, but you're not, the nigga really take about 80% of that, all it feels like, but stop doing that. But anyways, back to the video. Capitalism's so terrible, fuck money, can I have some? That's all, you way richer than me, Ran.
Utopias. Our Jahannams can become Jannah, our hells can become heaven, right here on Earth. And this sentiment applies to atheists, agnostics, and believers alike. Myself, I'm an agnostic who believes. I believe in...
What is being agnostic? Is it that you don't know what you believe in? I don't know. What is agnostic?
Myself, I'm an agnostic who believes. I believe in us. We must do better because we can choose to. We must be better simply because the option exists. Thank you.
Yeah, this was completely fire. That nigga Ren is extremely creative. The production on this was amazing. There was not one melody, flow, or beat, and I was genuinely entertained the whole time. Certified vibe check. Here comes another reaction by Mary here. Big music video by Mary right there. Bow, click on it, show me some love. Watch the video as long as you didn't hit that thumbs up button. You're a host. Stop being a hoe. KBD family, love you. Salute. I'm gone.